Hey, what is up, guys? It's Rid here. I'm back again with another video. Um, I guess it's been a month, or I don't know how long it's been, but I'm back. Um, yeah, and today I'm gonna talk about how there's always been some kind of idea of how bullying creates men, and how I actually have always agreed with that. So yeah, basically, a while ago, I think it was like, must have been like a year and a half ago, I made a video on high school bullies and just ways that you can, like fight through bullying in high school and or middle school or whatever and deal with it. Um, but today I'm going to talk about how I really think that bullying actually does create men, even though it's an idea that a lot of people disagree with. And basically, I'm gonna say that people may say that bullying doesn't create men, and I'm not by any means saying that bullying is a good thing or that it should happen, right? It's wrong. We all know it's wrong. But what I'm saying is that if you were bullied growing up, chances are, once you've grown up as a man, it's not going to affect you as much as it did when you were younger, right? And I mean, that's probably because you grew up, right? But the whole point of what I'm trying to say, of how it creates men, is I honestly think that, like, a lot of guys who were probably picked on at a young age or bullied, or maybe they were beaten up by their school bullies, or their school bullies got the best of them, either verbally or physically. You know, I've oftentimes seen that those same guys grew up later to be untouched by those same people that once bullied them. And so you can obviously tell that this is a major positive, right? Which is kind of contradicting what people say about how bullying doesn't create men, right? Because a man is no longer fazed by what happened in his past, right? And so if the bullying from a young age no longer gets to you or affects you and you've risen above it, then chances are that is kind of what turned you into a man. Because if it weren't for that, then when you got older, you probably wouldn't have known yourself as much, right? I feel like bullying actually gives us men more self-belief, and I know it can, especially when you're going through it at a young age, it can make you feel less self-confident. But I feel like it will mold you into a version of yourself that is like a lot stronger and just hard to break, right? You know? Like an example for me is, like, you know, back in like middle school or junior high or wherever we called it, or we called it junior high where I was, but it doesn't matter, and high school, I was sometimes verbally and physically bullied by some guys, and unfortunately they happen to be physically stronger than me, and I wasn't really getting the best of them when I tried to stand up to them physically. And that was around middle school to high school, right? Junior high to high school. But what I can confidently say now as a 23-year-old is that, honestly, if I saw the same people, I see them on social media sometimes, I see pictures of them, I highly doubt that they would really be able to get the best of me anymore physically. And verbally, I don't think I would really be affected anymore if they said anything to me or did anything to me, you know? So what I'm saying is that stuff really actually did kind of turn me into a man. It made me a stronger version, and I'd argue it made me a fighter for life as I got older, because as you get older, you're gonna deal with a lot of other things. Life is gonna get harder as you grow up and as you become an adult, especially when you become, well, I don't know, when you get married, when you have your own family and etc. And I just feel like now I can better take things that are thrown at me in life versus the days where I was worried. And quite frankly, there's a UFC fighter. He's a really good UFC fighter. I really love this guy and I look up to him. His name is Georges St. Pierre. But he talked about how when he was young in school, he was worried about leaving school because of the guy that was constantly beating him up on the bus. And he was worried about how to get home, right? And obviously, Georges St. Pierre, GSP, would have no worries of that anymore. I mean, look who he is now, or look who he became. This guy is on freaking Canadian sports or UFC Hall of Fame, and he's on some kind of Canadian athlete thing. He's really good. But yeah, basically what I'm saying is now, dealing with those sorts of things, maybe coming to class or what's it called, going home or going to school or lunchtime, those are not really worries for me anymore, right? I'm more worried about, maybe when I get married and I have a wife and I have a family someday, and that's normal, right? I'd say that's pretty normal, but what I'm saying is that the stuff I went through back then made me much better equipped for what life may throw at me later, because now I'm not really that worried anymore. I'll be honest, if I were to get into a physical fight now, it's nothing for me anymore, right? Because I used to go through that stuff all the time, verbal and physical fights, whereas I would be embarrassed to come to school after things would happen back then. I'm not even gonna lie, I remember crying and stuff. Well, obviously when I was like 12 or 13 in middle school, but you get the point, right? Yeah, so now I feel like that stuff really made me better equipped to deal with whatever I'm gonna have to go through now and later in life. And I feel like it's the same for other men as well who maybe went through some bullying at a younger age. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying what happened to you is justified. I'm just saying that there's positives that came out of it, because there's positives that come out of everything, just like how there's negatives that come out of everything, right? So yeah. And I mean, I don't know, some guys I see who used to get bullied, they're some pretty muscular dudes now, and they used to be really skinny, but then they're gonna try and argue that bullying didn't turn them into men. It's I kind of find that interesting. You're a fit dude now, you're strong, you're stronger than lots of men, and you're gonna say that bullying never made you a man, or you disagree with that concept, it made you more shy or nervous or scared. And I mean, I can get that too, but and that UFC fighter, Georges St. Pierre, GSP, I don't think he would have been who he is today without the bullying. And there's a press or there's an interview he did with Joe Rogan on the Joe Rogan Experience show. That's where I had heard his story, and I might even link it below in the description. But yeah, honestly, that is a prime example, in my opinion, of how bullying actually does create men. And I'm gonna say tough, strong men, right? And going through hard times, it really does create strong men, right? There is that quote, it's weak men create hard times, hard times create strong men create easy times create weak men, right? So hard times really do create strong men. And yeah, I guess we have to look at the positives of everything and embrace what we're going through or what we go through, and we have to accept the fact that things happen the way they did, or that things are happening to us, and I feel like life will go more smoothly. So yeah, if you enjoyed my video, please leave a like. And if there's anything you want to say or any sort of opinion you have, even if you disagree with me, you can let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, thank you for watching. And yeah, like, to those who actually watch when I do upload a video, it means a lot to me. So yeah, thank you very much. Have a good one.